Rev up your engines!
Christopher H. I understand it's more efficient to shut your vehicle off when waiting for someone in a store, but isn't it worse for your engine to be shutting off and starting it back up? Yeah, you got a very valid point there. And here's the thing. The most wear your car ever gets is upon startup, because the oil, when you shut it off, goes down to the bottom of the engine. And nowadays, cars are all overhead cam. When I was younger, they had cams in the middle, so it wasn't as bad to lubricate them. But now, when you start your car up, the cams have to get oil pumped up to them before they get lubricated. So actually, it is not a good idea to be continually starting and stopping your car, which is why I laugh about those auto stop cars that save money. You come to a stop sign, you turn the engine off, and then they start up. Now, the manufacturers claim that they have stronger bearings on the engine and lots of stuff, but they claim all kinds of things. I mean, it's going to wear the engine out faster. It's going to wear the starter out faster. They claim the starters are better built and stuff like that. But still, they're going to wear out a lot faster. And if you think about it, you're not saving that much gas. If you're sitting at a stoplight, 40 seconds, it really isn't going to make all that much difference. It's just a scam so they can have higher gas mileage ratings for the EPA, for government boat crew. I know those systems are nonsense as far as I'm concerned. John Smith said, my Nissan Frontier is making a grinding noise when I start it sometimes. Okay, generally that's your starter. If it only does it while you're starting the car and you hear a grinding noise, that usually means your starter's going out. And in that case, you're best to change it out sooner than later, because the way starters work are they're electric motors, but then they have a drive gear, and when you turn it to start it, the drive gear pops out and engages with your flywheel. If that's starting to wear and you hear grinding, eventually it will wear the teeth on the flywheel. And in order to change the teeth on a flywheel, you got to change the whole flywheel. You got to pull the transmission off the car, and that's a very expensive job. Taking 2 bolts off and changing the starter is usually a simple job on most cars, but changing a flywheel is very expensive. Robert Wiore, can you change to synthetic oil with a 97 Lexus that was using normal oil before? You can, but I really don't advise it. Engines kind of get used to the oil that they've been using, the additives, and if you've been using one oil the whole time, it's a better idea to just stick to that oil. Changing it, not such a smart thing. As an example, in my own personal cars, I've always liked the Castrol GTX. So I stick to it. They don't burn oil. They run fine. I'm happy. I wouldn't change something if what you have is working, especially on an older car like that. Sometimes I see the older ones, they change from regular conventional to synthetic oil, and they either start burning oil because it's thinner, or they start leaking oil in spots they didn't leak before. So if you got a car that doesn't have any problems, my advice is stick to what you've been using. It's worked. Why change? Adelio says, hey, Scotty, do you prefer manual or automatic? Well, if I'm seriously driving a car, of course, I prefer a standard transmission. You have more control. You can take off faster and stuff. But I'm like the prototypical American. I'm lazy when I'm in traffic. So if I go to Boston to visit my son there, hey, I rent a car that's an automatic transmission. Geez, that traffic in Boston from the airport going out is horrendous. You just stop and go traffic. That, yeah, everybody wants an automatic then because it's such a pain to be continually shifting when the car's in a traffic jam the whole way. So, a lot of Americans, they'll only buy an automatic. Tan Danny says, hey, Scotty, my car has heavy steering. What should I do? If your steering is hard to turn, first thing you want to do is check your power steering. Check the fluid. It might be low on fluid. Make sure the belt's still on and everything. But if it's not that, best thing to do is jack the car up in the air and check the suspension. I've got a video how to check out your own car suspension system. Shows you the whole thing. Because if your ball joints are worn, or let's say your control arms are bent, then things aren't going to turn smooth and it's going to feel heavy. And of course, always check your front tires, because tires have a lot to do with how your car handles. And if one tire is low and one tire is higher on the air, it's going to make it handle heavy too. Always check the simple things first. Fierce Jaw says, do you trust Brake Check for service? I don't trust anybody for service. That's how I became a mechanic. When I was young, it's like, I'm not going to pay a mechanic to work on my car. I know how much money they charge. And to give you an example of the insanity of prices that people charge these days, I was in San Francisco, and the Mercedes-Benz dealer in San Francisco charge $225 per hour labor. So it's always a good idea to do it yourself. And any kind of a chain, they make money selling you stuff. I knew a guy that used to manage one of those, and he said they wanted to get their average ticket to be $500-600. So they're always going to sell you stuff, whether you need it or not. I personally don't trust anybody when it comes to doing work on a car. That's why I became a mechanic. Hard to find a good mechanic these days, though, that's honest. I may be the last of a dying breed.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.